couple of things I thought was pretty cool. So Gilbert, we spoke about a few episodes back. He had written us a long novel.
A beautiful soliloquy.
And he gave some advice and perspective on a previous segment about a friend of the Man Fused podcast was about to get married to somebody who she thought had a gambling problem. And he weighed in with some wise, advice and coined him a little Buddha. I didn't respond to him for weeks after he sent the novel.
That's unfortunate. Was he offended?
No, not at all.
Oh.
The day before the episode aired, I sent him a text, said, hey, this is Kay Lee from Man Fused. Thank you so much for your novel. Just so you know, we gave you a shout out on tomorrow's episode. The next day, he ended up in Carmel, California.
Beautiful. Gilbert is a man of beautiful places.
He is.
Yeah.
Yes. It was really weird how when we put stuff into the universe,
Indeed.
Sometimes things just pop up. And just to give you an idea.
Right.
So he's walking in Carmel. It's a beautiful sunny day. How do I know this? Because he sent me a YouTube video of his walk past Clint Eastwood's bar or pub called like the Hog's Dick or Hog's Breath or something like that.
Yeah, he did.
And he goes back to this secret garden.
Yeah.
And in this secret garden, there are little Buddhas everywhere.
Beautiful.
Now, we said Gilbert was like a little Buddha. And then all of a sudden, he's surrounded by little Buddhas.
It was one of those things, the law of attraction.
And then he walks by this jewelry store.
Yeah.
And the jewelry store's name, Carrie Lee. Kaylee, Carrie Lee. Now, my name's not Carrie, but it's another reminder. Man Fused all over it. And then he followed up yesterday with this. Hey guys, my guess is that the Chinese or Russia got their idea of floating these balloons over the U.S. from the Man Fused podcast.
Now we're talking, Gilby.
You can tell someone has a sense of humor because you guys literally brought this up about floating a big cock-shaped balloon over Russia.
That is correct.
Well, yes, it wasn't.
It was a cock-shaped missile. But the balloon is an even great idea.
Balloon, missile, you're still floating a massive penis-looking thing.
I think with all the talk about balls from our recent episode, these balloons are balls. It's a ball in the sky.
It is a ball.
Gilbert's thinking to himself, no shit, there goes a ball in the sky. I hope they did get it from the Man Fused episode, and I thought it was funny, too, that I recently read an article about how anti-gay Russia really is.
Oh, no, they hate anybody.
Right.
Transgender, anybody in the LGBTQ community. You have no rights out there.
None.
If they don't exile you or put you in a camp or arrest you or ruin your fucking life or even kill you.
Well, one of the tactics that they were using to get the Russian troops fired up, they were saying that all of the Ukrainian soldiers were gay. And what came back is that was actually doing the opposite. It was demoralizing them because all this propaganda was being put out and they were still getting their asses kicked.
By a bunch of queers.
Right. So I'm telling you, bro, we weren't far off the mark at all.
No.
At all. The next level is what we're recommending. So anybody with connections out there.
And needs to get us in front of the president.
At least the Department of Defense.
The Pentagon.
Somebody at the Pentagon.
Get us anybody. Get us a meeting with anybody.
Yeah.
We want to tell our idea.
That's right.
That is such a cheap way to demoralize the Russian army and get under Putin's skin in a way that he will crumble from within.
Well, think about Gilbert's proposal of a penis balloon. Imagine if we could get one like the size of a fucking Goodyear blimp.
How about the one that China just sent over here? I mean, that thing was massive.
Well, I mean, I don't know how big was it?
90 feet.
Well, now we're shooting them down. We're shooting something down. Apparently, they're coming across Alaska, down through Canada, over Montana. And once they hit Montana, that F-22 Raptor's been dispatched.
But can you imagine just sending over huge cock blimp after huge cock blimp?
Over the Kremlin?
Yeah.
and like filling it with like something and like popping it.
When they shoot it down,
Yeah.
it rains like bachelorette party little penises everywhere.
Just across the entire country.
Yeah.
That say Putin is gay.
Yeah. Penis straws. I mean, penis necklaces. You know how, have you ever seen the girls at a bachelorette party?
Yeah.
They're just like penis themed everything.
Oh, yeah. Everything.
Yeah.
Straws.
Yeah.
Everything.
So these balloons, actually, this is a great tactic. I mean,
it's like a piñata. It's half balloon, half piñata. It's the world's largest football field size floating penis piñata that has a whole host of party favors. Bachelor, we'd have to buy out the entire bachelorette industry.
Yeah. Party City will no longer have any penis-shaped anything.
Yeah, we're going to corner the market.
Yeah. Sorry, we're sending it over to Putin.
It's going to end the war in one day.
I think that actually is a great idea in combination with the missiles that they take out the Russian soldiers with in the Ukraine.
Well, everybody needs a little humor.
Where we find it humor, they find it as an act of war.
Yeah. I mean, it's a self-destruction. The hope is that they just quit. They just get demoralized to the point where they quit.
Right. Well, if you're losing Russian soldiers to homosexually charged balloons and missiles, they are so homophobic there.
Yes.
They can't even be in the room with a gay guy.
That's right.
They do not want to be brushed with gayness on any level.
No. And the funny thing about that homophobic nature
is they're probably gay.
They probably are gay. And that's probably why they act as if they're so against it, because deep down inside, they know they like dicks in their mouth.
In their mind, and maybe the way they were brought up and in the era they were brought up, being gay is wrong.
That's right.
And so back of their mind, they're going, I can't suck his cock, so I'll kill him.
Oh, my God.
That is a weakness that should be exploited. USA, Ukraine, what the fuck are you doing?
This is easy.
This is simple. Going to get under the skin of the soldiers, the military leaders, and it's going to get into Putin's mind. It's a weapon.
Penis balloons.
Penis balloons. Penis missiles.
Penis drones.
Penis
just
drones.
Flying at people. This was called PSYOPs, psychological operations.
Absolutely. I don't know why they're not employing it. He shows he wears it on his sleeve.
Yes.
I hate gay. I'm freaked out by gay.
Yeah. Hit him with gay.
Hit him with more gay.
Hit him with as gay as it get.
Break out the gay.
We're going full gay.
Break out the gayest of the gay.
The gayest of the gay. Surrender or else.
And here on the Man Fuse podcast, we are not homophobic. We want people to have the rights to do anything that they want to do or be. It doesn't bother me in the least. If you're gay, be gay. Have the rights to be gay. You shouldn't be prosecuted. You shouldn't be ousted. You shouldn't be treated any differently than anybody else.
A lot of animals are gay. I've known some gay dogs in my time. I mean, it's just natural. You know, some people like, the same sex. Some people like a different sex. I seen a gay gerbil. We had a gerbil one time in elementary. Dude, we had a gerbil one time in elementary school, and they would run on the little wheel. 2 male gerbils, and I mean, dude, they would hump constantly, lick each other's behinds, and most girls have made out with other girls. Most.
Anyway, Gilbert said, "There you go, making a difference in ways you don't even know." And I'm going to create a fake news headline and spread it around. Man Fuse podcast creates international incident.
Yes,
I said,
Gilbert.
Please go, Gilbert.
Gilbert, we love that.
I said, we will take credit for it. Man Fuse podcast creates international incident.
Well, listen, you've heard of the butterfly effect before. How do we know we didn't? How do we know Gilbert's not right? Gilbert could be right.
Gilbert, I nudge you to make your fake news clipping or whatever you're going to do. But if you want to spread around that we did it, we are here for it, and we will own it proudly. Because we've been saying it. We got the proof from 6 months ago.
I love the TikTok, the reels that I see that people have made up, where it like shows a little balloon flying through the sky,
Right.
And then that song comes on, America, fuck yeah, and like a freaking jet comes out of nowhere and like shoots a missile at a balloon.
Yeah.
The funny thing too is how many people were shooting at it and talking about it, and everybody's like, shoot that thing down, and who the hell knows what it really was? I tell you the scary thing about it. You remember when Daniel Bland was in here?
Flat Earther, Daniel Bland from a previous podcast.
These guys that's what those guys think. They're like, listen, there's no such thing as a satellite. They use balloons. So-called satellites are actually carried by balloons. To have all this balloon shit going on right now is interesting. When you think about it, how is China could fly a balloon from China?
Well, it's got to have some type of propulsion system.
All the way up, through and down and around. It's pretty crazy.
Well, you also probably could catch some of the air currents, just like a bird.
Definitely.
Still have to be able to direct it.
Absolutely. Now think of this, because a balloon ain't shit. Think about 10,000 balloons. Couldn't do nothing about it, bro. You couldn't shoot them all down. Think about 100,000.
Oh, sure you could.
A couple million balloons.
Sure you could.
You know what I'm saying?
Now, you don't break out missiles. You break out the machine guns and you spray bullets. You can sure as hell spray.
I know, but I'm just saying, we're assuming that these things don't have anything on them. What if they had bombs on them, dude? I mean, what if they had some kind of chemical weapon on it? What if it's like dropping something that we can't see? What if it's spreading the next Rona? Chicken Rona? What
Chicken Rona?
Yeah,
Is that
what
like
if it's dropping the next Rona?
Is that like the Rice-A-Roni people?
There's so much weird shit out there. There's biological warfare. There's chemical warfare.
Psychological warfare.
Psychological
which we're
warfare.
saying we're here for.
We're into.
Yeah. We're into.
We're into that. There's kinetic war, which is like bullets and bombs and nukes and shit like that. I mean, there's information war. There's data war. I mean, there's just all kinds of different warfare. Another thing is this. We see the news as being, oh, this is what's happening. I learned a long time ago from my own experience, the news doesn't report what's actually happening. They spin a narrative and all agree on it, and then they report that. We're not actually getting the truth from the media about what these things are. They're being shot down. They're being recovered. Did you see one of them get hit by a missile?
Yeah.
It wasn't a balloon. It was one of those fucking Tic Tac looking things. They shot a Tic Tac with a missile. I mean, this shit's getting wild. Now, way back in the day.
Was it a mint or was it a flavored?
The Tic Tac is the little, it looks like a Tic Tac, but it's a UFO. These are the things that Commander Fravor saw. And he's the guy that saw the UFO and was reported. So Commander Fravor saw this thing. And these are the things that fly at like lightning speed.
Well, so that would be an extraterrestrial. That would be something from not this planet. That we don't have that technology here. Theoretically not. There's a lot of different ideas that the UFOs and the Tic Tacs and all these craft, because there's such historic record of these things, there's historic record of these actual craft, biblical times, pre-biblical times. Ancient aliens.
Samaritans have talked about these things. It's talked about in the Hindu book, whatever that is. I think it's like the Hindi or something like that. It talks about the Ariel, the gods coming from the sky. This is in the Bible. The picture of Mary Magdalene with the freaking UFO in the background done by Da Vinci that was painted. These craft have been here for a long time. The potential that they're not from somewhere else, that they are actually here. We've seen them going into the ocean. We know that we know nothing about the ocean. Anybody will tell you we haven't even looked at or seen a very large percentage of the ocean is completely unexplored, completely unknown. We really don't know how deep it goes. We really don't know what the fuck is down there. So we've seen these things going into the ocean. We've seen them coming out of mountains and things of this nature. There's ideas like Daniel Bland had, the flat earth. There are other ideas of a hollow earth. There are other ideas. Most of the globe is water. There could be entire cities down, way deep down underneath the earth's, what we think is the bottom of the earth could just be the ceiling of a completely different world where people have been living for thousands and thousands of years. We're out here on the surface. We're getting all the shit, dude. We're getting all the sunlight. We're getting all the wind. We're getting all the damage. We're getting all the shit that's flying in from space or whatever. Of course, we only live like 70 or 80 years. We're out here on the crust.
We're getting cooked.
Yeah, we're out here getting cooked by the sun. If you think about it, if there were an inner Earth of some sort, it would be a much more habitable environment where you would probably live a lot longer. It's probably a much more healthy kind of a situation down there. We know that the core of the Earth is hot, real fucking hot. As far as the depth of our technology, do you know the deepest we've ever drilled is 8 miles? And as far as we can see down with all of our radars and things of this nature is only like 100 miles down. That's nothing. But we know at the center, there's a really hot thing. So there's a theory about a hollow earth and a sun that's inside, and the North Pole and the South Pole having basically holes, and that's the entry and the exit point. That's what creates the northern lights. And if you've ever seen the electromagnetic energy of the earth, it appears to come out of the top and the bottom of the earth and cycle back through. So there's all kinds of weird theories about what these craft are, who's driving them, is there someone in it, or is it like a drone? Who the hell knows what it is, but we're confronting it, whatever it is. Is it man-made? Is it something that the military-industrial complex is planning? Take control and militarize the one world government?
I don't know.
I don't either, but it's freaky, dude.
And there's a lot of theories, and there's a lot of speculation.
Everything I said is just nowhere in the narrative, but it's all information-based stuff that's out there. People are curious about it.
People believe it.
What should we believe?
What do you believe? And if you want to chime in on any of this conversation, you know you're welcome to by hitting us up at manfuse.com or 770-744-5227. You can send a text or you can leave a message, whatever the fuck you want to do. I heard a different perspective from somebody. All of these balloons, Tic Tacs, whatever the hell they are.
Yeah.
It sure is creating a nice distraction to where we're not really talking about the catastrophe that happened in Ohio 5 days ago with this train derailment and these chemicals. Mm-hmm. I mean, they had to evacuate a whole town of 5,000, and then they had to detonate chemicals to contain it from detonating itself and it being a much bigger issue, and the plumes of chemical smoke that was going up.
Toxic.
I mean, toxic.
People were told to leave their homes, and then they were told that it was safe to come back, and it's actually not safe. And so they're told to leave again because it's not safe. It's like, well, wait a minute. We just came back. So you mean we've been breathing in some shit?
I believe the water contamination is a point of concern. I also heard, and I haven't verified this info, but that the brakes on this train had not been replaced since the Civil War.
Really? Civil War era train?
Brakes or something of that nature.
That is wild, dude.
They have stripped back the workers on railroads almost to bare bones. I mean, there were experts saying that if things aren't done soon, these catastrophes are going to be more frequent and even more devastating.
Yeah, because the rails are carrying all kinds of stuff.
They haven't been updated. They haven't been upgraded. They don't have the engineers they used to. They're not getting any type of funding. These railroad companies are trying to squeeze out every dollar of revenue.
Right.
And not putting anything back.
Yeah, it says here, nearly 2,000 residents of eastern Ohio remained under evacuation orders on Monday as railroad crews drained and burned off a toxic chemical from 5 tanker cars of a freight train that derailed in a fiery wreck 3 days earlier. Officials said the venting of pressurized vinyl chloride, a highly flammable and carcinogenic gas, began with a single explosion.
We thank you for listening to the ManFuse podcast. Join the show. Hit us up, manfuse.com. Check out our ManFuse gear. Make sure you like us on our Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, send us love on all the social platforms. Let us know you're out there.